Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Friday the 28th of October comes to you from London. And we start, as always, by looking at the dollar index. Another positive week on the dollar by the looks of this candle if we get a positive close today. Still bullish above the cloud on the short term. No really clear short term targets emerging recently off the chart. We do have this one back in June, giving us a 103 on the dollar index, so another 5% upside, and of course still a lot of medium-term targets, but overall dollar is still looking bullish. If we look at the euro, that translates to being a bit bearish in the long and medium term, but we have just got this cloud cross, so we're just in a phase where we're seeing a little bit of a short-term recovery. But the fact that we moved lower than this June low has activated this downside target to parity. We do have all these downside targets, so we expect this move to be short-lived. If we take a look at sterling, good news yesterday out in the UK economy, but just struggling to do anything with it. That's a characteristic where we see good news and the price doesn't react. So in a downtrend, you'll see that good news doesn't necessarily move the price, and in fact, we expect that we've fallen away sideways, probably another lurch down. We do have a new upside target not yet activated, but this downside target here of 119.47 hanging over us, it looks like we will get back below 120. We had that in the flash crash several weeks back. It looks like we will find that again. So if we look at just some other rates, Aussie, sterling is recovering a little bit off the floor there. But it's interesting that the dollar strength is really the key. Here we see the S&P 500 just struggled last night again. We're back to 2133. Just can't really get above this 2150 level and hold it. And of course, we're in the doldrums really until we get above 2200. So very much waiting for the US elections. Nasdaq also just turning a little bit bearish, ending the week on a bit of a low note there as well. And we look at the large cap laden Dow holding on a bit more strongly, so large cap's doing a bit better. Looking at the future this morning in London, future is up very, very slightly, but again we're seeing this negative pressure on the charts there, so that's quite key. And the same with the Nasdaq as well, we're seeing that negative pressure too. If I look at the FTSE 100, we see here we've got some recovery strength going on, but it is below the cloud here as well. And if we look at the FTSE 250, much the same thing again, but below the cloud and bearish. Looking at the DAX still holding its bullishness here, so that's quite key. And Nikkei continuing its run overnight last night, so we are seeing some strength there as well. Shanghai Composite, we're seeing quite a move there as well. If we take a look at the Hang Seng Index, we see here again bearish action here and making new lows versus the lows we saw a couple of weeks ago, downside action as well. So Chinese market just looking a little bit worrying, and of course the long-term picture is still bearish while we're below the cloud here as well. Australian market has had a pretty bad week, and we've fallen lower overnight. Just this weekly cloud is hanging over us in the terms of the lagging line on the cloud there, so back below on the daily as well. So that's a bit bearish as well. If we take a look at Brent, just holding this $50 mark, $50.50 this morning, but at the moment we still are a little bit bearish below the cloud. We did find support here on the short-term chart, so Brent is just holding its own. Of course, this time of year tends to be tough for the crude market, but it's faring better this season than normal. Again, we're just seeing the long-term chart getting close to moving out on WTI, but we are bearish in the short term. Take a look at heating oil, much the same picture as crude as well. And nat gas, big move yesterday through the cloud back into bullish territory. This really finds support on the cloud, big jump there in the price, and that sets us up for this transition back through the weekly. If I take a look at some of the other things like soft wheat, having another good day yesterday, just starting to come through on the cloud on the short term, but a lot of work to do still on the longer term charts. Coffee, very bullish. Transition here into the weekly, bullish on the daily, bullish on the 60-minute, one of the best looking commodities at the moment. If we look at gold, just struggling really around this 1270 level. We do have another new upside target, 1296, 1298. It's all clustering towards around the $1,300 mark. That's about 2% upside. Although we do have a new downside target, but it's not yet activated. But it looks like gold is building some pressure to rise back to that 1300 level. And if we look at silver, we're seeing the same thing as well. Upside targets just a little bit below the cloud here, so just struggling at the moment, but we do have these upside targets to play for in the short term. If we take a look at US government bonds, big move yesterday up to 186. We had these targets on the chart. We're talking the 186.40 that was given back in early October, 186.03 given last week, and we're seeing now that playing out. So here's the big jump, really showing strength, and that continues really into the medium-term charts and long-term charts, 216, 213. Market really pricing in some interest rate rises. Apple back below the cloud, so on the short term, so we are just seeing a little bit of a sell-off here in the short term, but medium term good, long term recovering as well, so Apple looking better in the long run. Google out with results last night, but bullish on the charts. It would be interesting to see how the market opens today with Google, but that's still a bullish looking chart pretty much all round. Amazon just turned a bit bearish, and again results out, so we expect below the cloud we might see some moves. We've got a downside target of 793, 3% downside. And then last of all, Facebook back below the 130 mark, but still looking bullish, pulling back onto the cloud here, lagging not yet below, and still these medium and long-term targets to play for. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, until Monday, happy charting. See you then.